Hello, assalamu alaikum. In this video we will understand about the immunology on skin. So which that is very essential for all student, which that is biomedical student and biological student. So the external environment contain the contaminated things like the commensals, the parasite and mutualistic bacteria, but helpful and the mostly harmful also. So the skin is a barrier, and the barrier is the first line of defense mechanism due to the skin. Skin contain keratinocyte. So external environment contain commensals, corine bacterium, Staphylococcus aureus and Staphylococcus epidermis is the best example, while the parasites can be worm, insect, tick, mite and lice, as well as the mosquito, while the mutualistic can be asymbiotic bacteria release defensive protein against the pathogen for homeostasis. And here is the microbiome are present in the upper layer of the skin, and the skin contain epidermis, dermis and hypodermis. So we will concern with the epidermis and dermis. Here is the epidermis contain a keratinocyte. This keratinocyte basically whenever the rupture the skin due to the injury or other things like the burning or the infection will lead to facilitate the bacteria due to the rupture of the keratinocyte, because the keratinocyte is brick against the pathogen invasion. So in this way the pathogen can invade into the hair follicle side, hair side. Whenever you will be plucking of the hair, so will lead to invasion of the bacteria into the hair follicle to cause inflammation also. But here is the keratinocyte produce the defensive protein, chemical weapon. As a chemical weapon, number one thing is that, so it will release the defensive protein. It is antimicrobial and proteins and antifungal protein, which that release to inhibit the bacterial invasion. Even it will combat the bacteria to prevent the basically pathogenicity of the skin. So pathogen will prevent from invasion into the skin due to the keratinocyte release the defensive protein. Remember, this keratinocyte is very important, and remember the keratinocyte self-cleaning and shedding periodically and sweeping away any germs trying to settle inside or invade. So the number two thing, remember this is the important things, and the number two thing is that the Scott and messenger from the Langerhan cell. So the Langerhan cell sampling antigen constantly, and this sampling of the antigen as a messenger to move nearest lymph node. So it will move nearest lymph node when and processing the antigen and engulf this part of the antigen as a sample, and will pick that antigen from the skin where the keratinocytes are present in the epidermis, and they remain in the epidermis Langerhan cell. And it will, third step is the migration nearest lymph node, and when enter into the lymph node it will activate the T cell. T cell activate to proliferation into the CD4 and the T regulatory cell, and also a CD8 cytotoxic T cell and T helper cell, remember for short to understand. And T regulatory cell release due to the interleukin 10 to recruit the T regulatory cell, and in this way the T regulatory cell prevent the infection and the autoimmune disorder, etc. So I hope you make sense about that. T regulatory cell regulate the inflammation and the regulation of the immune response. And in this way, here is the CD4 will proliferate into the CD4 and CD8. Naive T cell will convert into the CD4 and CD8 to proliferation and reside where the inflammation will occur. Remember, whenever it will be reside, so in this way it will be released more cytokines and chemokines. The cytokines and chemokines also release from the naive T cell proliferation during the proliferation for recruitment of the further innate immune cell. And T cell is the adaptive immune cell. So in this way the skin also trigger the adaptive and innate immune system. So the innate mean the CD4, CD8 and B cell and B memory cell is the adaptive immune cell, while the Langerhan cell, dendritic cell, macrophage, neutrophil basically is the innate immune cell. So the neutrophil and macrophage toward the infection site by T helper cell recruitment due to the cytokines and chemokine production. And in this way, the fifth step is basically fourth step is the inflammation due to the CD4 and CD8 activation for clearance of the infected cell. And number 5 is the inflammation trigger and stimulate more to recruit macrophage and the neutrophil. This neutrophil endocytosed the pathogen will lead to erythrocytosis by the macrophage. Erythrocytosis means the neutrophil will be engulfed by the macrophage, and this macrophage basically also release cytokines, clear all debris in the sixth step. The cytokines further recruit the other immune cell to cycle begin lead to chronic inflammation, and the mast cell seventh step is the further inflammation for further alarming to recruit more immune cell, because if the inflammation will not clear and the pathogenicity will not clear, so the allergic reaction will trigger due to the production of histamine via a mast cell. When the mast cell bind with the antigen with the Fc portion with the IgE antibody of the mast cell receptor, Fc portion of the IgE via a Fc receptor will lead to trigger the more degranulation of the histamine. This histamine will release from the mast cell to recruit more and more immune cell for further inflammation till the end of the clearance of the pathogenicity. So in this way, the immune cell basically release the cytokines to recruit more and more immune cell for further clearance, and in this way, eighth step is the T memory cell will produce after the recognition through Langerhan cell, and also B memory cell, but we are not discussing because this is not involving in the skin. So next, quick stand up for prevent of allergy and inflammation due to the T memory cell for quick response to activate the B cell, and also it will activate against the pathogen quickly to clear that all debris before the inflammation, and the inflammation will not possible due to the T cell activation. I hope you make sense about that. In this video we have understand about the immunology on skin is very simple way to understand, and see in the next video. For this time, bye. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe. Bye.